NOATA, Craig, and now obviously here in Ottawa County. That is the reason for this topic to be brought up. We're going to kind of skip through some of the minor things, but this is really to kind of educate the community and educate the commissioners on what's going on. So this is what is considered a very high voltage line, a transmission high voltage line. It's 345,000 volts. Normally the voltage that distributes the power to homes and different things like that is less than 10,000 volts. So you have to understand this is a high amount of electricity that's coming through. This right here is just kind of a visual. I want to help you guys understand that normally power comes from a generation source. This one right here, the example is it's produced at 161,000 volts. It hits a substation. It creates a system. It creates a grid. The rest of this is distributed out at 69,000 volts. What they're proposing, AEP is proposing to do across all four of these counties is push 345,000 volts across all four counties. And when they're doing this doesn't connect to anything. This benefits the people that is crossing in no form or facet. So with that, I just want to give you guys a visual that there is a system, and they are stating the facts that SPP has a mandate for a load demand or a dilemma over in Missouri. That is what AEP is presenting to the people. What they're not telling you is that is a demand that doesn't have to be met by AEP, and it does not have to cross the four counties of Oklahoma. Some of the things that we can do, well, actually, I'm going to back up just a little bit. Some of the risks and hazards that are involved with this are going to be, one, it's obviously a 345,000 volt line. Some things that people maybe have heard of, different things, the electromagnetic field. Some of it call it EMF. This thing, because of the higher voltage, the larger the electromagnetic field, it's going to have more effects than just your normal lines that normally cross these areas. Another big problem with these things are the property values and the property diversities. What this thing is going to restrict or constrict people that they can or can't do with their properties by this thing coming through. It's going to diminish property values, and like I say, the diversity that these people would have their properties will be completely cut away. And then another thing I always like to bring up is the easement deals that AEP tries to bring to people. These easement deals, one, they are not for your benefit. They are for the benefit of that company. AEP is a publicly traded company, and their main objective is to get their shareholders more money. It has nothing to do with trying to make the ratepayers do anything. And if anything, a project like this is going to fall back on ratepayers because, like I say, they're a publicly shared company. They're not going to disperse this any other way besides through the shareholders. Some other options for AEP / SPP when it comes to demand. I kind of made this description earlier, but anyways, basically think of it like a pasture and a pond. So if you have a pond here, and what they have is a 2-inch water line that feeds 2 or 3 tire tanks out here, and what they need is, for more water, accessibility for cattle down here. Instead of them putting a pond down here, what they're actually talking about doing is piping across the top of the ground of these property owners that have nothing to do with them. That is just a rough description, a simple description of what they're trying to do. So the first thing that AEP and them should really look at is putting the generation where the demand is. Put a pond where you need a pond. Don't pipe it across the top of people that have no reason to do that, no reason for it. Another thing you can do is utilize existing right-of-ways, existing easements that already exist. That's what actually benefits the true system that they already have in place. The Oklahoma footprint for transmission systems is perfectly fine as it is. I'm not saying it couldn't use some upgrades and some different things, but that comes to upgrading the footprint that already exists. There's no reason to push a line across 4 counties except for the fact that they are just trying to make money. That's really what it comes down to. It comes down to cost. So then the question comes, so what can you do about it? What can the people do about it? What can the commissioners do about it? So one is the people can simply don't sign the easements. Do not sign the easements. Another thing they're going to be wanting to come by pretty soon is to survey the properties in the direction of where they're wanting to put this line. Without them having any type of certification from the OCC, they have zero right to be on your property. So you can tell them absolutely not, you want no part of it, and they can do something else with their times. Another thing that the people can do in general is there has been a nonprofit organization called Protect Rural Oklahoma, PRO for an acronym. We are going to have a public meeting on Tuesday, March 17th at 6 p.m. Like I say, anybody that wants this information, I can get it to them after the meeting. But like I say, that'll be held at the Welch Civic Center in Welch, Oklahoma, and that is March 17th. That's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. But then the other thing, while also we're here, is what can the elected officials do? There are things that the elected officials can do. One that needs to benefit the county. It needs to benefit the county no matter what. One would be a road use agreement. One would be upfront. Another would be upfront bond money from this company. They're talking about coming through here with heavy trucks, heavy loads, all these things. And without you guys' supervision, they're going to take whatever trail they want to, and they're going to have zero regards for culverts or anything else. And if something is damaged without a road use agreement, without upfront bond money, the county's just out that money. So that is something that's highly considered. There are other things, like I say, if the commissioners talk to the constituents, and I'm gonna say that you need to talk to the constituents that are in the direct path of this line, because there's going to be people 10 miles north and 10 miles south of it.
You got 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. That aren't as worried about it. So I would definitely look at you guys. Want you guys to be paying attention to the people that are in the direct path of this line. You can look at moratoriums. You can look at also resolutions towards this company in objection to it coming across your county. These are all things as commissioners you guys could and should do to be in opposition to this line if it is what your county doesn't feel is best for the community. How am I doing on time?
Thank you, sir.
And I'm happy to take any more questions, and if the chairman, Mike, if you would want to give me more time to talk about anything.
I did not write the state statutes under this form. We have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who cares to speak, if you are more than welcome to. Once again, please stand, state your name for the record, and we do need to stay to the 3 minutes. I didn't write the rules.
Natalie Bullard. I have questions for the county commissioners.
We can answer, excuse me. Go ahead, please, thank you.
Have any of the Ottawa County Commissioners met with AEP?
These will be answered someplace else. This form doesn't allow us to interact and answer questions at this time.
Will the questions be answered later, or will they have to be asked again later?
Yeah, they'll be recorded, and we'll do, yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just wasn't sure if questions would be given. Second question is there any monetary gain or direct benefit from the AEP line to Ottawa County directly? Third question is, as the Board of County Commissioners in Ottawa, in general, what is each of your 3 individual opinions on a new 345 kilovolt line cutting across your county? Next question is, if the majority of affected residents, landowners, and homeowners in your county don't want the line, what can and are you as a Board of County Commissioners willing to do to help protect these people and your county constituents? And finally, would we be able to get back on the agenda potentially for more time, not in the public comments section, but as a agenda item so that this can be discussed further, since this is a critical issue facing your county? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, could you please state the name, even though we're certainly familiar?
I'm Second Chief Norman Hildbrand with Wyandotte Nation, and this power line can go across, I know, our reservation and Eastern Shawnees, and I'm not sure about the Miamis or Modocs that come off close to them. But the one thing that this line cannot do is go across trust property, Native American trust property. They can't invoke eminent domain to require that either. So that's going to be a problem. But one thing that citizens can do is inundate your state representatives, state senators, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission with emails, write them a letter, however you want to do it, and tell them you're against this. So that's about what I wanted to share.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Greg Bryan. I'm a landowner of Upland Jacket. I'm also helping out with Protect Rural Oklahoma, and I'm very concerned against these lines. I just wanted to educate everybody here, if you don't know it already, Ben mentioned it, and I would like for you guys in the seats up front to see if you can research this when it goes back to, is this going to benefit these 4 counties in Oklahoma? And the answer is clearly no. It's going to feed data centers. And if y'all haven't heard about this, I actually took a day off today. I actually use AI for my job, artificial intelligence. And the amount of energy that one data center requires is about as much as 750 to 800,000 homes. And I said it right, 750,000 to 800,000 homes. They just approved one in Joplin a few weeks ago. They've got one in Adair now, and they've got one in Pryor, and they're popping up everywhere. So this has zero to do with the reliability factor that the AEP folks put on their newsletter. If you look at the newsletter you got, it has a storm brewing, and it talks about reliability. That is fraud, that's false advertising, so don't be fooled by it. So I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that. If you didn't already know, it has everything to do with wind. It's coming this way. I actually live in Arkansas and happened to get an email yesterday that talked about the viability of wind and solar. It is just a blip. And it's not something that they can transfer right now until they have battery storage. So everything is geared up to have storage, data centers. So you picture this 100-mile corridor coming through here. In about 20 years, it's going to be full of metal buildings, full of computers, and it won't look anything like green country does today.
Tell them how much water they use a day.
Joplin's running out of water, by the way.
And we're in drought condition now. I mean, just keep pulling from our water
Ma'am,
level.
I'm sorry, sir, was you finished?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Ma'am, you're more than welcome to speak.
Debbie
State-
Gaines, these data centers use about the amount of water a day. How much was it? 2.5 million gallons of water a day. And we won't be able to sustain on that. There's no way. We're already in drought conditions here in northeast Oklahoma. We're ranchers. Everybody's mostly ranchers around here. And you go out and you see how much, we have no pasture now hardly, so, from lack of rain this spring.
Thank you.
I'm Gail Graham. I spoke with the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, a lady there probably approximately 2 weeks ago. She said that I needed to come to you guys because they had no jurisdiction over this. I don't know. They were one of the ones listed on the back of the sheet to contact. So I did contact her. And I have a concern like them, about the water. How is it going to affect our wildlife, our prairie lands? With that much voltage coming across, what effect is that going to have on everything? And it's very important to me, I've just got a 40-acre plot, but it's very important to me that it stay like it is, as protection. That's why I live in the country. Thank you.
Sir, I hate to inconvenience you, but for the record and the ones that are listening in, could you speak up to the mic? Because sometimes the louder we scream, the less it is able to get on the record. Thank you so much.
Donald Kirkland. I live on 130 Road, just east of the Craig County line. I've got approximately 800 acres. This land has been in my wife's family for almost 200 years now. It's original Indian allotment ground. Some of it's never had taxes paid on it because it's never changed hands. And it's just prairie the way it used to be years ago. There's even wagon tracks going across this property that's still visible from the cattle drives. And if they go through there, it's not going to be the same. And I think you're my county commissioner. I don't see you very much. those roads out there are tough to keep up with. We had a big truck get stuck Friday night, big fertilizer truck get stuck up there. And like, I think he said, if they go to bringing heavy equipment in there, they're gonna destroy them roads out there. They just don't have a base under them, and I'll pat you on the back if you can get bond money, whatever it's gonna take to make those people fix those roads that they tear up. Because we just get by out there, but we're farmers, we got tractors, and we manage. But that's, you know, just to see something like that come into this part of the country, to rural Oklahoma, this is why we like it up here. We don't like visual effects, you know, we like to look out and see the pasture, see the cows, we don't wanna see high voltage lines. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, you want me up there? I can speak now.
If you would, sir, once again, they may not pick it up, and every syllable that you're saying, I want you to record and.
I like that you call me sir. I'm not old enough. George Hubbard, resident of Ottawa County. I'm neighbors with Donald, just across the road. I guess I have a comment and then a question. Comment-wise, a lot what Donald said, that the reason we live where we live is because it's rural America. And my wife and I, and several neighbors, we want to keep it rural. That's what we like about northeast Oklahoma, and that's why we like it there. But I guess my question would be, and I know I've had a lot of conversation with Scott, but my question would be, is there any regulations or rules within the county that can help us stop this line from coming through? I've been told that one of the reasons that these companies like coming through counties like Ottawa County is because we don't have very many regulations. And it's a lot easier for them to go across a county like that than it is one that has those in place. So I guess my question would be, is there rules and regulations that would pertain to these kind of companies coming through and putting a line like this through? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Beth Gray, and my grandparents bought property in Ottawa County back in 1945. And it's been in our family, and continue to keep it in our family as long as possible. This line, the information and all, I've always heard these high voltage lines give off a ton, noise and all. And again, when we are out, we like to listen to the birds and all the animals and all. We don't like this high tone. And because I've been around the wind turbines, and they have a whoop, whoop all the time, and these high powered lines will have a hum also. We have monarch butterflies that come through our property on migration. We don't know how this high voltage will affect that. The native prairie that we have in our area, native prairie grass, never been tilled, still has the humps and all in it. If you go across it, track it up, it destroys that. It also, you can't spray it, you shouldn't spray herbicides or anything, because a lot of those plants in the native prairie are medicinal. They have medicinal properties, things that we may not even know about right now. That if we destroy that, you can't go down to the feed store and get seed that brings this back. So that's one thing. There's quite a bit of property that has this native prairie that they're proposing to go across. And like I said, it's like, unlike everybody, it's going to destroy to set out and listen and look at all the nature and all. If it did something, if it helped our neighbors as far as electric and all, because I was raised with the rural electric corporation, everybody worked together. That's why you have that, and that's why you try to keep the cost low for everybody. future, we've gotta be realistic and keep our properties where it needs to be as far as rural and not have, a lot of things that can interfere with that. Thank you.
So I'll be clear, I'm just here as a property owner. I live in Ottawa County on 150 Road. Hudson Creek crosses my property in the backside of it. So around my property are 3 transmission lines. The RDA has a transmission line. Across the street on 150 on Larry Smith's property is a transmission line. And then on the other side of the mile is another transmission line. So currently I have 3 transmission lines surrounding my property. So my biggest concern, gentlemen, is health. I have a daughter that was a leukemia survivor at 4 years old. She lives on that property with me. This is my family property. And so I went to the first meeting, the last meeting that they had at the Civic Center, seeking information only. Because I didn't have an opinion one way or another about the transmission line. I asked them at the meeting, the representatives that were there, what they could give me about the health concerns. I was sent to 4 different people at that meeting. The last person did give me a brochure, which basically was a study that their company had done, which said, yes, indeed, the closer in proximity you are to a transmission line, especially a high voltage line, the unhealthier that is. But that was the best they would give me. So that's a great concern of mine. This property is my family's property. I have several family members living there, grandkids. I'm a widow. It is one of my biggest assets that I have, and the property value, as you can tell, there's wildlife. I have otter, beaver, deer, hogs, you name it, on my 40 acres. So I'd like to keep it that way. We hunt, we fish, we eat it. That's important to me. So I asked them about those several transmission lines, and now you're talking about a cumulative effect. So I want you all to think about that when you think about the health and safety of all of these people in this room. It's not just my family. The cumulative effect of this, does it outweigh whatever money they're about to make on this to our health? So that's what I ask you to take into account. And I do want to mention this. You cannot hear out there. And I know you guys did not plan on this meeting to be this big or draw this much attention. But in future, if you do have a meeting, could you and I would probably know some places you could have this where people could hear, because it's not fair that they can't hear the comments. So just wanted to say, and I know that's not your fault. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. For anyone who cannot hear out in the hallways, we have an open mic, and you get the same allotted amount of time that's been used before. Please, can I get anybody to acknowledge that they can hear that? I do not want to miss one person here today. You all came here for a reason. We do not want to miss one single person who wants to speak. Melinda, I'm counting on you. Was that a no? If you would, ma'am, just speak up to the podium, step up to the podium and state your name for the record.
My name's Kenny Jarman. I live on 137 Highway. I have 2 homes there and 40 acres, and I've lived there my entire life. My dad was born there in 1926. I just don't think it's right that somebody should be able to build a transmission line right down between, like, 2 houses are about 300 yards at the most apart. I have 20 acres here, and catty corner I have 20 acres. They're talking about going across this 20 acres and then coming down the middle of that 20 acres. And when you figure that, they say that you can't build either side of it for, they want 150 feet of right of way. And I just don't think it's fair that they ought to be able to root their way in somewhere where they have no business. let alone go underneath the Neosho River. And when we went to that meeting, I got lied to 3 times by these AEP people. They told me that it was to help our electrical grid, which it isn't. My dad was an electrician. You don't use that kind of electric for homes. And I just want everybody to know I'm mad as hell. And I'm not putting up with it. And I don't care if I have to get a lawyer, but if I lose, everybody keep your head down. Thank you.
Let me say something. My name's Larry Palmer. I live out east of town. And you've all heard that they're not making any more land. Well, I've got a natural prairie meadow that's by Beth Driggs. And it's set up on one of the routes to go right through the middle of it. And whatever they damage to it, you can't get it back. You can't buy grass seed at a store and put it in there. And it's irreparable damage. I don't want it. How come we don't look at the right of way on I-44? It's big enough. It can handle it. Run right along I-44 if they want to put it in there. But we don't want it out there. So I don't know where it's got to go, but let's send it somewhere else. Thank you.
Anyone else? Melinda, anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Michael Carmen, I'm an Ottawa County resident, my wife owns Twin River Cream Cattle south of town.
And on the map that y'all have, the part that looks like a spider web is the property. They have 8 proposed different lines, and it could go as far as 3 miles on the property that they've worked hard on the livestock. Invisible from 2 home sites. Right through the middle, they have GPS tractors that are trying to run into these if they're in place. Cattle operation. It's just gonna be hard if you have it. Another,
She has contacted state representatives,
senators, AEP, 3 people in the OCC, nobody wants to take accountability. There's no answers, nobody says, yes, we're the deciding agency, keep passing the buck. You get hold of OCC, I've called 3 people, they said, we don't have deciding factor on this. So we call AEP, they put it off on OCC. We told the senators, we had no control. We're not getting answers from anybody. So we need some help with this. As you can see, nobody wants to do property. For all aesthetics, property value, I'm sure at tax times when our property value goes down, there's going to be less money coming into the county and the city. So there's a lot of reasons that we don't want this. So any help we can get, we have to appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm Julie Davis, and that was my husband, Michael Conley. And I just wanted to...
Julie, will you pull that mic up so I can hear you?
I'm Julie Davis, and that was my husband, Michael Conley, and I own Twin Rivers Training Cattle. This has been my family for a long time, in the 4th generation. And they are planning, like Michael said, 8 different proposed lines. One of those lines cuts literally through the middle of our homestead, behind headquarters, 1,300 feet, and Early Farm. One of those lines is just east of my property that I would view for 2 miles. And it also goes over no-till ground, which it hasn't been tilled in 50 years. There are so many reasons that these lines should not be here. And this is also a historical place of my family and this farm. And a lot of people know my father, Larry Davis, and Nicola Davis. And the amount of work and the toil and the hard times that they've endured to keep this farm growing, it would be a tragedy if this loss came through. I don't want to see them. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to hear them. And nobody in my neighborhood does either.
everybody I talk to, I don't know anybody that wants this in their backyard. Property values will be reduced. We live in a country for the landscapes and the beauty. Yes, I moved away, I came back, but I came back because I wanted to be here, and it's a beautiful place, one of the most beautiful places in Oklahoma. So I just urge you three to help us fight this and support the people in Ottawa County against this. Thank you.
Only have 1 minute before, can I get?
Absolutely. You have 2 minutes remaining, sir. Please speak.
All right, one other thing I'd like to bring y'all's attention, my name is Greg Bryan again. We have land right on the border of Ottawa and Ray Craig. And like so many people here, we talk about how hard we worked our entire lives. Pay for that herd. My parents worked hard. I'm a 5th generation farmer. Probably more than that, probably like 10th or 20th actually, because go back to Europe and go way back. And I think everybody in here appreciates the dirt they live on, the beauty of green country. My brother and I run cattle out there still. But here's what I want to bring to your attention. Again, I mentioned that I'm in the technology field. Okay, I have insight to what's going on the other side of the fence, so to speak. There's an exponential increase right now of artificial intelligence on demand. It's on your phones. If you have an iPhone, you have ChatGPT. There's Claude. There's so many of them out there. Gemini, you name it. There's a billion of them. If you watch the Super Bowl, they're advertising it, right? It's going so fast that these companies are trying to see the demand signal, trying to meet it however they can. This is like a modern day gold rush for the company that has $72 billion operating capital, AEP. Look it up. Okay, Southwest Power Pool is a company that's a nonprofit that manages the grid in 14 states. If you lift up from the maps that you got in the mail and look outside the borders, you can see where it's going. Terminates, the new 345 terminates in West Branson. And if you go down south, where Nuclear One is, Darnell, Arkansas, you'll see that those will eventually connect. If you look at the plans that are in motion from companies that are over in that area, large companies from Springdale and large companies from Northwest Arkansas, there's a demand signal that they're trying to meet for future growth, okay? Microsoft recently bought 200 acres in Ohio, had 0 electricity on it, and the state would not give them electricity. So what did they do? They went and built a modular nuclear reactor that's in motion now, okay? So they're trying to do behind-the-meter solutions. So my appeal to you all is, if you can, figure out how to pause this until more sustainable solutions are reached, because we're just doing the old standard, which is run a big line across large people's land. It's irreversible. Somebody says it's irreversible. That's a perfect word. You can't take it back. It's going to be there till Jesus comes. And I don't want to look at it almighty.
My name is Jim Wilkins. I'm a landowner in Ottawa and Craig County. I want to emphasize that we only have 52 days before AEP is going to go before the Corporation Commission and ask for a certificate of authority. And we need to put pressure on our elected officials. We need to contact everybody that we can. We need to be writing letters. I encourage everybody to come to the meeting that we're going to have on March 17th and 6th at Welch, so we can discuss our options on how we can oppose this, and what we can do if they come to us and ask for an easement, how we can refute that, and like I did on when I went to one of the
house, I said, I'm not going to let them voluntarily come and survey my property. There's things that we can do as landowners if we stick together. So I just encourage everybody that's here, talk to their neighbors, talk to everybody that's affected. There's a lot of people that threw their paper in the trash. They're not even, it didn't even hit the register yet. So we need to encourage those people to get involved, come to the meeting, and that's all I've got. Thank you.
I wanted to say real quick that, I'm not sure if it was them or who, but they came to my land, was out in my driveway to my back gates, taking pictures without coming to the door and talking with me. I don't know if it was them or the highway department. But I really think when someone comes on your land for whatever reason to survey, take pictures, they need to have permission of the landowner.
Can you, once again, state your name for the record?
Dale Graham.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Krista Kirk. My husband Mike Kirk and I are landowners in Ottawa County. We not only run cattle, but my husband has a substantial size honeybee operation. This line would run about 50 feet from our home where we lay our heads at night and about 150 feet from the honeybees. Honeybees are extremely important. If you want to eat, you need them. And he's doing his best to keep them alive, and this would be detrimental to that as well as being so close to our home. Thank you.
I'm seeing someone who is showing up out there that I hadn't seen before. Please come to the mic and state your name. Thank you.
My name is Tammy Lowry. It's not going through my property, but it's going through my mother's property and through dear neighbor's property. And I was not going to come up here and speak, but I'm so impressed by the turnout and everybody who loves our community. That is fantastic. And so I suggest that everybody keep it up. But through my parents' property, my dad was Ottawa County Emergency Manager and sat in at these meetings many, many times. And so I'm glad to be here to speak on his behalf today. But through his property, there's old Indian burial sites. And this Route Line 112 will go right through that. There's old wagon wheels. And I've heard people mention that. Those are amazing things that we don't want disturbed. However, I'm also coordinator for the Tar Creek Apprenticeship Program. And I work with 7 tribes who are sponsoring this program, and we are working very hard to teach youth in our area how to love the land, how to reconnect with the land, how to take care of it, how to clean it, and then how to leave it for future generations. And so what's Ottawa County known for right now? The Tar Creek Superfund site. And so why on earth would we allow or invite anybody else in to come in and bring potential harm to our area? The mining companies didn't know what was going to happen decades and decades from then. We now know. We're cleaning it up. We have children right now with high iron blood levels, lead blood levels. We don't know what's going to happen with this. Nobody really knows yet. And so I just ask and urge you all to please, let's take a stand as a county. We want our children to grow up here. I was born and raised here. I would like to stay here. I would like to stay on my land instead of there's electromagnetic fields pulsating through my body every day. Our kids don't need that. We don't need that. So I say, Ottawa County, let's take a stand. They can find another route. They can find another place.
Yeah.
Once again, if there's anyone who just showed up, I keep seeing different faces out there, but if there's anyone, could you ask in the hallway, anyone that sounded my voice, is there anyone else there that wishes to speak? Okay.
I do, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Take your time. All 3 minutes. Take your time.
I'm Deborah Cole, and my husband and I have property that will be affected. And as everybody said, it's devastating. It's devastating. We have 4 generations farmed. And not only that, I'm a cancer survivor, and that line will be close to my house. And we have big parties out there, family get-togethers, family reunions, and those kids will be running out there. Well, a lot of kids have, not a lot, I should say, some kids have contracted leukemia from those lines. And that is, and the studies out there, that what makes me so upset is the studies are inconclusive. And when I tried to contact the numbers that they've given us to contact, everybody's passing the buck. Exactly. And they disconnect, or they say, leave a message, and there's no place to leave a message. And finally, I did get a hold of Bergstrom's office. I left a voicemail. He had his secretary call me back, and she said, why on earth would we even want the line anyway? It's not benefiting us. There's another way they can take it. It's benefiting Missouri, so go through Missouri. If it's not benefiting us, isn't there a law that they can't come on your property and do those things unless it's benefiting us? Is it benefiting any of us? No. Thank you for your time.
Once again, for the record, we do not want to miss one individual for today. Last call for this agenda item is aforementioned. It is not advisable for this board to make a comment on this agenda item at this point in time. But I can say, as citizens that we share here, thank you. I admire your courage, and thank you for showing up today and speaking on behalf of our wonderful county and the citizens that could not be here in this room. Anyone else? Thanks again.